long night of baseball last night, but in the 13th inning, down to Jay Bruce, a rocket into right center, tying the game. And then moments later, it would be Jay Bruce who trotted in with the winning run on a base hit by Cesar Izturis. The Reds go to 7-1 on this 10-game homestand in a thriller. And we welcome you to Great American Ballpark in downtown Cincinnati. Crowd rolling in for the second game of this three-game series between the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds. And hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. In the 13th inning, clutch hitting. Something the Reds really didn't do much of. You may remember even winning 97 games a year ago. And Chris, it didn't start well in that category, but my oh my, have they heated up lately.
Well, especially at home, Tom, and that's really what it is all about, isn't it? Clutch hitting, getting hits with runners in scoring position. First 12 games of the year, the Reds struggled, as you said. Batting average under 240. They were 18th in all of Major League Baseball. But man, oh man, when you win like they have at home, the last 8 games, 375, first in Major League Baseball, that's one reason why they're putting these W's on the board.
Another reason, of course, Chris, this unbelievable run of pitching for the Reds.
Well, you know, you run through this rotation, and there are no weak spots. Now, Johnny Cueto's out, so you say, hey, what about the spot vacated by Johnny Cueto? These guys are striking them out, and not all of them are strikeout pitchers. They're getting a lot of punch-outs out of the bullpen. Sam LeCure is getting strikeout, J.J. Hoover, and, of course, Aroldis Chapman. And tonight we're going to see Tony Cingrani. He's a strikeout artist of his own, a left-hander that struck out 8 batters in his first start, 5 innings. And I'll tell you what, I expect to see that duplicated again tonight.
Looking forward to it. He feels like he's a lot more comfortable settling in to the big leagues. And Tony Cingrani to face the Chicago Cubs. We'll talk more about his first Major League start when we come back. From the wet stuff tonight, our weather is brought to you by Eric Dieters, attorney-at-law. And to fill us in, here's our buddy Tim Hedrick.
Bottom of the 13th last night. I think Cowboy on the radio put it best. I was listening on the way home. He said most teams he played on would have folded. Would have folded in the bottom of the 13th. Not our Redlegs. And we're going to hand it to the Cubs again tonight. First pitch, 66. Notice, slight chance of a shower, especially early on. 64 halfway home. 61 headed for home. Hitting right field. Ooh, just punched it. Enjoy the game on Fox Sports Ohio.
All right, Timmy, thank you. Tonight we get our second look as a major league starter at left-hander Tony Cingrani.
Well, we were so impressed last year when we saw Tony Cingrani come up and pitch out of the bullpen. He's got a special arm and very special way he throws his fastball. He hides it very well. The ball gets on hitters, and then he just gets strikeout after strikeout out of a fastball that only measures about 90 or 91 miles an hour on the radar gun. But it doesn't matter. This left-hander is really going to be a very fine one. He gets a second start, 8 punch-outs in his last game. Dusty Baker liked it, and he would have gone deeper into the game, Tom, had it not been for the so many 3-2 counts that he had. So he hopes to be a little bit more pitch efficient tonight and get deeper into the game. We've seen this young man before, 29-year-old Carlos Villanueva. Villanueva was a guy that played for the Brewers for the most part. He signed a 2-year deal here with the Cubs. He's a starter, and he's off to a very good start so far this season.
Sure is. At ERA, he's only allowed 3 earned runs in 21 innings so far this year. All right. Reds have been rolling at Great American Ballpark. They'll try to keep it rolling when we come back. The first pitch, Reds and the Cubbies. Series trucks, a best-selling truck in America 36 straight years. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Book your stay at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good. It's Skyline time. Well, we're about ready for baseball here at Great American Ballpark. 2 more games to go on this 10-game homestand, and the Reds have been nearly perfect. 7-1 through the first 8 games. Dave Chappelle, the one-time Red, looks at ball 1, and this one is underway. Dale Swaim and the Cubs, 5 wins, 13 losses, and yet another heartbreaker here last night. Getting a 2-run home run by Luis Valbuena off Alfredo Simon in the top of the 13th. only to give up 3 to lose in the bottom of the 13th. 2-1 to Chappelle. 2 hits in his first 21 at bats. And now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chappelle, along with last night's Cubs starter Travis Wood, traded away prior to last season from the Reds to the Cubs in the Sean Marshall trade. Wood threw the ball very well here last night. And here's strike 3 called, and here we go again. 1 batter, 1 strikeout already for Cincinnati pitching. Let's take a look at the rest of the Cubs lineup. Starlin Castro coming up. Anthony Rizzo at first. Middle third of Soriano, Castillo, and Scott Hairston out in right field. Cody Ransom, they just picked him up. He's starting at third. Darwin Barney at second. Villanueva on the mound. Those are the numbers for Cingrani, his first major league start. And he picked up the win.
I think he got some of the butterflies out of him in his first major league start. I mean, after all, you're out there. It's something that you've worked for. He had a taste of the major leagues last year, but it's nothing like getting your first start, thinking about it ahead of time, leading up to it, sleeping the night before, wondering what's going to happen. And I think he's got a lot more at ease today than he did his first time out. I'll tell you one thing about Cingrani. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Tom Browning in the pace of his pitching. I mean, he's rubbing the ball up right now, but I mean, he threw that first batter, Dave Chappelle. He gets it and goes.
Cingrani grew up in Illinois, in New Lenox, Illinois, about 42 miles southwest of Chicago. Young man, only 23 years old, went to Lincoln Way Central High School in New Lenox. Began his collegiate career in South Holland, Illinois at South Suburban College, and also played at Rice. Two batters, 2 strikeouts. Take a look at the Reds defensively, presented by your Ford dealers. Heisey, Chu, Bruce in the outfield, the regular gang along the infield. And look who's hanging his sides. Of course, he was back there with Cingrani at Louisville. Corky Miller back in the big leagues. Welcome back.
Yeah, nice to see Corky back there. He handles pitchers about as well as anybody around.
Hey, look, you can talk about a guy who's 23 years old and the butterflies and all that kind of thing. Make no mistake about it. Corky's been around the block a time or two, and then a time or two again, and maybe a time or two after that. But when you haven't played in a major league game since 2010, you can take it to the bank that he is very excited to be in that lineup.
A lot of positive things happen when you get put back on that 40-man and then the 25-man roster. I mean, other than the fact that the obvious that you're collecting pension time every day you're in the major leagues is worth something when you retire. Good night, Irene.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night to the first 3 batters of the night. Cingrani fans the side. What a start. tonight. Chu at center, Cozart at short, Joey Votto at first, Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce, Todd Frazier in the middle, and a ladder third of Chris Heisey, Corky Miller, and Tony Cingrani. Tell you, the Cubs starting pitching has been excellent this year. You never know it by their overall record, but Villanueva, the leader of the pack so far with those numbers.
Well, the only runs he's given up have been solo home runs against him, so he's been awfully good. Villanueva is not a guy that's going to be able to blow you away with a fastball. He throws a lot of off-speed stuff, curveballs, sliders, change-ups. He'll cut the ball, he'll sink the ball. He's a guy that can be described as being able to pitch to a scouting report because he throws all the pitches.
To Shin-Soo Choo, who's been on base every game as a Red, and you can chalk up another one. Hits a rocket right by the shortstop Castro, and a single by Choo, who now has reached base in 15 of his last 19 plate appearances.
Boy,
unbelievable.
Does he keep it simple or what? I mean, it just appears that he sees the ball so well. He's short and quick to the hitting zone. I mean, he's got a nice flat swing. I mean, as impressed as you were when you watched Chu play for the Indians, and he played great against the Reds.
Yes, he did.
He's way better than what we thought. Way better.
Already with a pair of stolen bases on the year as well for Chu. That's a big lead over there. Now, what about the running game against Villanueva?
Well, you can run against him, and it could have, in the past, you could. He's given up as many as 13 stolen bases a couple of years ago, thrown out only one. This year, they've had one successful and two thrown out. So the catcher behind the plate has a lot to do with that. Castillo's got a good arm.
Cozart through 13, 4 home runs, 10 runs batted in, just returned to the lineup here last night after trying to put down a bunt over the weekend against the Marlins, and the ball, rather than hitting the bat, hit the first 2 fingers of his hand. That's a rocket foul. And luckily for Cozart and the Reds, those x-rays came back negative, as they did on the right pitching hand of Jonathan Broxton, hit with a line drive off the bat of Nate Schierholtz here last night. Crowd already into it here tonight at Great American Ballpark. Chu just seems to really set the table for this team. Every time you turn around, he's on base, and you're thinking something big might happen. Good pickup at third, and they turn the double play. So much for that idea.
Yeah, pretty good turn at second base by Darwin Barney. He was a Gold Glove winner last year, and I tell you, he gets rid of it very quickly and is able to turn a slow roller into a double play ball.
So now Joey Votto, 304 batter, 3 home runs, 7 runs batted in. He had homered in back-to-back games. That string came to an end last night. Votto did not have a hit last night. Went 0 for 5, struck out 3 times. He did draw a walk. Hook to the right side, and that'll do it in the Reds' first inning. Chu with a hit, nobody left. End of 1, no score.
12 pitches overall, 9 of them for strikes. And here's the head and shoulders whiff of Old Spice. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. First 3 hitters of the Cubs order: David Sapelt, Starlin Castro, Anthony Rizzo. I don't think it's that easy, but no one has told Cingrani yet. I mean, he's just playing catch with Corky Miller right now, and he's got batters up there cooling him off.
His first 6 innings since being brought up from the minor leagues, he now has 11 strikeouts. Alfonso Soriano behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brought up earlier, the Reds set a franchise modern record in the game here last night. Going back to 1900, they have produced at least 10 strikeouts in 5 straight games. And by the way, not in a single one of those games was the number only 10. That one ripped into left field, a base hit for Soriano.
Yeah, that was one where Corky Miller, if you saw it right at the very end, he wanted that ball up. And that's where Cingrani gets most of his strikeouts, is on a fastball that really has some riding action. Right around here is where he wanted it. You see where it went. He dropped the bat head, and Soriano lays out a solid line drive to left field.
For Corky Miller tonight, 16 years in professional baseball. Tonight is only his 200th major league game. Put that in perspective for a minute. 16 years. And you barely played a little more than 1 year of a major league season. All the bus rides, all the bus rides. Oh, and 1 the count on Wellington Castillo, and a breaking ball misses. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, in order for Corky Miller to get to those 200 games in the major leagues, he had to play over 1,000 games in the minor leagues. A lot of bus trips, a lot of meager meal money, a lot of bad clubhouses, a lot of 4 a.m. wake-up calls so you can get on a commercial flight with 2 stops to finally get to the city that you're going to, only to play a twilight doubleheader that night as soon as you get there, and have scouts waiting to see if you're ready to go to the big leagues. A lot of those days for Corky Miller.
Signed originally by the Reds as a non-drafted free agent. Was not drafted in 1998. Think about you at home watching the ball game right now. Where were you in 1998? That's when Corky Miller started his professional baseball career.
At 22 years old.
3-2 on Wellington Castillo. Leadoff man aboard. Scoreless game. We're in the 2nd inning. Struck him out. 4 outs in the game, all 4 strikeouts for Cingrani. Now there's good and there's bad to that. Make no mistake about it. You're getting people out, you're striking people out, Chris. But as you know, with all the bullpen the Reds have been forced to use, with all the extra inning games, they played 2 13-inning games over the last 4 days. That is one very thin bullpen going into this game tonight. And Dusty Baker made it very clear before the game. He needs a lengthy effort from Cingrani tonight. Runner goes. Miller's throw is right on the money, and they did not get him. Close play.
Well, he got a big jump because Cingrani is somewhat deliberate to home plate, but he's not really worried at this point about trying to be quicker. He wants to make sure that the stuff he has doesn't lose anything on its way to the plate, and you give up a 2-run home run by trying to be quick to home plate, not have anything on the baseball. You know, I'm always curious when I hear a manager say that, Tom, about, well, we need a long outing from our starters tonight. Not just Dusty Baker tonight with Tony Cingrani, but you hear it all the time. Our bullpen is tapped. We need a long start.
Going to third. Throw there, and the ball was dropped by Frazier. Not sure if they'd have had him anyway, but clearly the scouting report, the Cubs believing they can run on this Reds left-hander, and on back-to-back pitches, Soriano has gone first to third.
I think the ball hit Soriano. Or maybe he just kind of slid into Frazier right there. Well, Frazier just missed it.
Looked like he'd have probably made it safely anyway.
But I mean, instead of putting it on the pitcher saying, hey, we need a long outing out of you, how about going to your offense saying, we could use 10 runs tonight? That way we could stay with our starter a whole lot longer.
Jam shot into left. Heisey the catch. Soriano tagging, and he will score. So aggressive base running by Alfonso Soriano, leading to the Cubs, jumping in front 1-0 here in the second inning on a sac fly by Scott Hairston. Reds appealing the play, and the third base umpire Jerry Meals saying no. Soriano waited to tag from third base and come in to score the game's first run. So 2 away, and here's Cody Ransom getting the start tonight at third base. High fly ball hit pretty well in the deep right center field, and Chu will watch it fly out of here. An opposite field home run by Cody Ransom. And all of a sudden we've gone from talking about strikeout after strikeout to a 2-0 Cubs lead in seemingly the blink of an eye.
How about Cody Ransom? Welcome to your new ball club. Ransom's been around a long time and has been a lot of places. No better way to welcome yourself to a new bunch of friends and go deep.
Breaking ball in there, a strike to Darwin Barney. 2 in, 2 out. Waiting on Barney to get back in the box. 2-2 the count. And Cingrani ready. And miss the inside corner, and the count has gone full. This will be the 20th pitch of this inning for Cingrani. Hit hard, but right at Chu, and the inning is over. But the Cubs get a pair. And after an inning and a half, own a 2-0 lead. That's Saturday, May the 11th. The first 30,000 fans get the Aroldis Chapman bobblehead thanks to Cincinnati Bell. That'll be the Reds and the Brewers on Saturday, May the 11th. And you better get on the horn right away. 381 Reds, or visit reds.com/tickets. That'll be a sellout, no doubt. Cody Ransom. A solo home run capping off a 2-run Chicago top of the second inning. Reds fell behind 2-0 last night. They battled back to tie in the 7th inning, fell behind in the 13th, won it in the bottom of the inning. They'll have to come from behind again here tonight. Chris told you the Reds have seen plenty of Villanueva, spending 5 years in Milwaukee, most recently in 2010. And then the last 2 years in Toronto. He won 13 games in 2 years. And the Cubs signed him to a pile of money. Last year split time between the bullpen and the starting rotation. A 7-7 record. Only made 16 starts, winning 5 of them. But the Cubs were looking for guys a lot like Villanueva. They brought in Edwin Jackson, who's had much more success than Villanueva, to try to patch together their starting rotation. Slow roller down to Ransom. 1 out.
Well, with Villanueva, one thing you're almost certain about is the pitch that you're getting to the plate is going to have some kind of a bend in it. He doesn't throw very many fastballs at all. In fact, his fastball percentage is among the lowest of all pitchers in the major leagues. It's down around 35 to 36%. So everything else he throws, curveball, slider, changeup, cuts the ball a little bit, all going to have a little bit of a bend in it. So that's what you should be looking for when you go up there, is some look off speed and then adjust to the fastball, rather than the prevailing thought normally is look for fastball, adjust to the breaking ball.
Jay Bruce drove in 3 runs last night, did his first home run of the season and what was his 83rd at bat of the year. That was leading off the 7th inning, getting the Reds their first run of the game, and then a huge double to tie the game in the bottom of the 13th, and wound up scoring the game winning run on the hit by his Turris. Foul ball. A little bit of sunshine bleeding in through what has been a mostly cloudy late afternoon. But another very comfortable night at the ballpark. We have had, what, 5 days in a row of just beautiful weather, and we understand per Tim Hendrick, cold front coming through much later tonight. 12:35 game here tomorrow. Why not come on down? But if you do, bring along a sweater and a jacket. That is a good pitching matchup here tomorrow. The Cubs ace is Jeff Samardzija. He'll be on the mound for Dale Swain's team, and really the starter who's pitched better than any Red in their rotation, despite not having a win. Matt Latos on the mound for Cincinnati.
2 big hosses going at it tomorrow. Samardzija's a big guy. And of course, you know that Matt Latos, 6'6", and not skinny.
No. Pulled the string on him, and Bruce is out of there on strikes. The first of the game for Villanueva. The Cubs have been very poor defensively to begin this year. Only the Nationals have committed more errors. Their defense brought to you by your Ford dealers. They'll change it up a bit tonight with Sapelt at center, Hairston in right, Ransom at third. Everybody else the same except for Villanueva. Now Todd Frazier. Frazier had the blazing start to this season, has cooled off quite a bit here of late. 1 ball and 1 strike. Reds at the high water mark of their season thus far at 4 games over 500. And they still sit atop the National League Central going into play tonight, a half game better than St. Louis. But I'll tell you what, there are 4 teams in this division that are just tearing it up right now. You don't know how long it'll last for any of the teams. But with all the talk about the Central not being necessarily a very strong division, there are Central Division teams that are wearing out some of the quote-unquote big boys from outside of the National League Central. Milwaukee has ripped off 8 straight wins after beginning the year at 2-8. Pirates have won 7 of their last 10, a game over 500. The only team under 500 in the Central, the Chicago Cubs. Cardinals in action in D.C. No score there in the top of the 3rd inning. St. Louis with a 1-run win last night. Milwaukee will be in San Diego later, and the Pirates are in Philadelphia. Scoreless that game in the 2nd. 2-2 on Frazier. We'll do it again. Pretty good battle going on right now, Villanueva and Frazier.
I'll tell you, Frazier not going to win any beauty contest with his swings up there, but he does stay alive. Body going one way, back going another, just trying to spoil the good ones.
Big deep breath from Villanueva. And got him swinging to end the inning. A perfect 2nd for the Cub right-hander. Chicago leads at the end of 2 by 2. serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Reds halfway home through this stretch of 20 games in 20 consecutive days. They have gone 6-4 so far. Finale of this homestand tomorrow, and then they open up the road trip. Doesn't get any easier. 4 games in the nation's capital against the only team in the National League which won more games than the Reds a season ago, the Nationals. Thursday, Friday, Saturday there, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in St. Louis before they get an off day. 3 pitches to Fan Villanueva. So 5 strikeouts for Cingrani through the first 9 batters of the game, but he's allowed the 2 runs. Sapelt struck out looking, leading off the game. Popped up into a rainbow, which crosses the sky beyond the right field wall. How about that? 2 away in the inning. There you get a look at it.
How do you have a rainbow without rain?
I'm not smart enough to answer that question. That's way above my pay scale, young man.
Might be a Tim Hendrick question.
That would be a very good Tim Hendrick question. Will we throw it to Tim Hendrick on Thursday night from the nation's capital? We'll be expecting to have the answer. Or maybe when we get back against Atlanta. You'll be back in the booth against Atlanta, right?
I will be.
All right, we'll wait till we come back home. So, Tim, I know you're dialed in right now. Probably having a little dinner in between the 6 o'clock and the 11 o'clock newscast. So please fill us in. (3-0) on Starlin Castro. He takes all the way a strike. Castro went down swinging in the first inning. 2 runs, 2 hits for Chicago. Both runs, both hits coming in the second inning. Reds have been shut out on 1 hit. That was by Shin-Soo Choo. Cozart charging, and a nice play by the Red shortstop to throw out his counterpart in a 1-2-3 third. Heisey to start things off when the Reds come to bat in the third, trailing 2-0. They've signed James Harrison. Kevin Goheen looks into the NFL draft from a Bengals defensive point of view. And Al McCoy has the latest piece. Highlights a Reds player that is tougher than you might expect. It's brought to you by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Drive safe, spend less. NFL draft coming up this weekend. And Chris Heisey will lead things off here in the Reds' third inning. Cubs in front 2-0. And a charge into that one into deep left field. And Heisey with a bang. Home run number 2 for Chris Heisey, and the lead is down to 1.
Yeah, Heisey was swinging the bat a little bit better last night. Hit a couple of hard balls, line drives, and that one you can see the reaction from the pitcher Carlos Villanueva. He knows that one is out of here. The only question is how far out. And just like that, the Reds get one back.
Now Corky Miller. A ball and a strike. Corky in his minor league career at .251 batter. Very hard to really, in all fairness, get any gauge of his numbers at the major league level because he has played so infrequently through the various times going back to 2001 where he's been called to the major leagues. 5 games in 05 with Minnesota, 1 game with Boston in 06. There's a check swing and a miss, and he went around, and that's the first out here in the third inning. Tell you what, we went on the Reds Caravan and our leg had Corky Miller. We were so fortunate to have him on our leg of the Caravan. I mean, everywhere we went, guys like a cult hero, you know, Chris, you've been out with him. I mean, they've had bobblehead nights for Corky Miller. Down at Louisville, he knows everybody seemingly in the whole town.
Could probably run for mayor of Louisville.
I don't think there's any doubt about it whatsoever, and he would probably win. Take a look at that. They had fans that had those bobbleheads and were bringing him up and having him sign them. Corky Miller t-shirts worn by so many. That was one of our stops this year in Louisville. I mean, he was the man. We had Jay Bruce with us.
Who?
That's right. Two and one to Cingrani. And Corky is without a doubt, with all those bus rides we were talking about before. You know, when you're on the Reds Caravan, you're in basically a completely gutted and renovated bus. It's nice. I mean, there's couches, big TVs. If you wanted to take a nap all the way in the back, you could if you wanted to while you're on the road, literally from 8 o'clock in the morning till, you know, your last stop begins about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. Corky's a man you want to have with you because no one knows movies better than Corky Miller. Cingrani grounds out to Barney, 2 away in the inning. Zach Bonkowski, who runs the Caravan, he picks our movies. He's with us every single year, and the movies are tired. I mean, they are really tired. So this year we had Corky with us, and he says, I got a few in my bag. I think you might like it. And I mean, for the next 4 days, it was one after the next coming out of his bag.
Well, give us some examples. What?
I'm not good at remembering the names of movies because I don't get a chance to see a lot of them. So I'm just telling you, every one that he put in there, they were awesome. Inning over.
That sounds like a pregame show topic for Jim Day. Corky's top 10 movies.
I think it ought to be Chris's checklist. Home run by Heisey, a 1-run game. Milwaukee Brewers Friday, May the 10th. Stick around for the postgame fireworks spectacular presented by the Tri-State Chevy dealers. May the 10th, a Friday night. Mark it down. For tickets, call 381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or visit reds.com/tickets. We'd love to have you down at the ballpark. That'll be on the next homestand. That's a good homestand. Atlanta, Milwaukee. In for 6 games in another lengthy road trip for the Reds. They've had a lot of home games here in the month of April. To begin the month of May, they only have 6 home games in the first 24 days of the month. In fact, they only have 11 home games the entire month of May. Chicago comes back in 24th, 25th, 26th, and the Cleveland Indians are here for a Monday night and Tuesday night near the end of the month. Three Hopper down to second. Phillips will throw out Rizzo. Soriano is single into left field on a 2-strike pitch. Stole 2 bases, scored a run. First pitch swinging in the air to Heisey, 2 out. This has a chance, with 2 down and nobody on, to be the most efficient inning tonight for Zingrani. Five of them to retire the first 2 in the inning.
Oh, a pretty good third inning and first inning. It's only the second that he went to 20, and really at 48 pitches in the 4th inning, that's not all that bad. He was much higher than that in his last game. In fact, he had to come out of a ball game after 5 innings because his pitch count got up around 100.
Castillo struck out his first time up. Ball 1.
Trying to mix in that curveball. That breaking ball that Zingrani's throwing is one that he's really just recently begun to throw well enough to use more and more in a ball game. In college at Rice, and then in the minor leagues, he was mostly fastball, changeup. Changeup being always his best secondary pitch. Of course, when you have a fastball like that and you're simply blowing away the competition in the minor leagues, you have to really get after a pitcher to use that secondary pitch, because it's just, why should I? They're not hitting the number 1. I mean, the numbers Zingrani put up his first 2 years in the minor leagues with the Reds. From a strikeout standpoint, ridiculous. We'll tell you about him when he comes back.
stamping of Cincinnati will win the beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. There it is. Register for your chance to win it at an upcoming game. Just stop by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer.
That Toyota sign, that's reachable. Now, not the one with the truck on it.
No.
But the one that you would hit between the power stacks at right center field. Definitely reachable.
You could load up that entire crew in that Tundra right there. All right, 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order. Cozart, Votto, Phillips against Villanueva. 2-1, Chicago in front. Reds scored on a solo home run by Heisey, leading off the third inning. Cozart bounced into a double play after Chu led off the Reds' first inning with a single into left field. It started on a bouncer down to third. Castro charging. Good play. Cozart threw Castro out on a similar play. Back into third. We remind you tonight's Ohio Lottery Mega Millions jackpot up to $92 million. Drawing is tonight at 11 p.m. We wish you good luck. Slow breaking ball. How about that?
Well, that's about one of the slowest you will see. It registered 60 miles an hour. 6-0.
I don't know if I've ever seen 60.
Now, we've seen Arroyo throw some 65, 66, but I mean, Votto had a chance to say yes, no, yes, no. Yeah, I think I'll swing it after all.
And right back with a fastball at 87. Might have looked like 107. 2 out. Votto hitless in his first 2 at bats tonight. So now Brandon Phillips, 2 down, nobody on. Reds down a run.
You know, Villanueva is kind of an interesting guy, and it's a nice night to see him contrast with Tony Cingrani, who's primarily a fastball pitcher. Throws about 70% fastballs, and Villanueva does just about anything but throw very many fastballs. A lot of changeups, curveballs. Fastball is 89. His slider is 83. His curveball is anywhere from 60 to about 74. That changeup is in the low 80s. But if you don't spot your fastball, none of that other stuff really matters. You've got to be able to throw that where you want to so that you can freeze a hitter.
Well, he's got that mustache working, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. That's
border Raleigh fingers. Borderline Raleigh. Not quite as long.
Be a good look on you, I think.
It would.
If you grow it, I'll buy you some mustache wax. A year's supply.
It'd take me about that long to grow it.
So really, you might say we've got 2 of the best mustaches in the game right here in this ballpark tonight. If you like Villanueva's twirled up, then you got Corky Miller.
Yeah, I like Corky's. I mean, you had that growth going here the opening game of the homestand. What happened to that thing? I mean, it looked like you were kind of going back to the old days.
I shaved it for picture day.
Picture day?
Picture day.
Picture day for what?
On Sunday, we had picture day here at the ballpark. All the players and broadcasters went around.
Okay. I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
That ball's hit hard. Into right center field. On the run is Sapelt at the track at the wall. He'll run it down, and the inning is over. 1, 2, 3 go the Reds, and we go to inning number 5. A 2-1 Chicago lead. Toyota dealer, or visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places, and by JTM Food Group. Let's create great dishes together. Well, that park right along the Ohio River on the Ohio side, just coming together beautifully. Now with spring, everything beginning to bloom, and I don't think it'll be that much longer before that thing is completely finished off. Right along the banks. That'll run all the way down to Sawyer Point. Of course, the park will stop only for about, what, 200 or 300 yards right there on Mering Way, where it goes down. The actual
where the landing is?
Yeah. Fly ball in a straightaway center field off the bat of Hairston. 1 out.
Well, Hairston makes contact that time, but Tony Cingrani has 6 strikeouts. We've been telling you the last few days about how many strikeouts the Reds pitchers have had. And kind of wanted to put it in perspective. Let's go look back here at 2012. This is what the average strikeouts per 9 inning are, or were back last year. This year you see the Reds have a major jump from 7.2 strikeouts per 9 innings to 8.7. But you can also see that they're up all around Major League Baseball. So this is, in China, the year of the snake. In the United States and in Canada, the year of the strikeout.
The year of the snake.
Yeah. 2013 Chinese calendar, year of the snake.
You learn something new every day. Thank you very much. I have a sister-in-law that lives over in China. I mean, I should have known that. Now, is there any significance? Because I know they have like the year of the rabbit, right? That's
sure.
one of the celebrations, for lack of a better term. What other animals are involved in that? Do you know?
No. I just happen to know.
Well, you dropped it like you're an aficionado on it.
Ask me next year, and I'll tell you what year 2014 is.
All right.
1 item per year.
Okay. That's fair enough.
We're trying to keep it simple up here.
Don't want to get anybody. Don't want to peak too early. 1-2 to Ransom, who homered his last time up. You know, you were the guy, I remember we were doing a game a couple of years ago, and you were going to start giving us a little more information on biorhythms of players. Remember that?
Yes, I do. We can go back to that.
Go back to it. It never had any feet, much less legs. Try that inside corner on a fastball, and the count has gone full on Cody Ransom.
Well, Ransom is a guy, you may not know this about Cody Ransom, but he, in his first 2 at-bats as a New York Yankee, back in 2008, he hit home runs. The only Yankee in Yankee history to do that. He also made the last out ever in the old Yankee Stadium.
Hard hit ball, and he has another extra base hit in this game tonight. So we've talked about what a black hole the third base position has been over the last number of years. I mean, outside of a year here and a year there, since even Ron Santo retired, they had that great stretch with Aramis Ramirez. But before and since, been pretty dark days down there.
He's hit the ball hard twice. Obviously, once out of the ballpark, that one ripped right down the line past Todd Frazier. This guy's an amazing athlete. Have you ever seen the YouTube of Cody Ransom jumping on a 5-foot box?
Yes.
Takes one step, jumps, and he lands on a box that is 5 feet high.
Yes. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
He is the pride of Grand Canyon University. That is in the city of Phoenix, Arizona. They have produced a number of major league players. Small Baptist school. Tim Salmon came out of there. Chad Curtis came out of there. John Patterson, formerly of the San Francisco Giants. And there have been a few others along the way. And Ransom right in line.
Famous statisticians.
Yes, Scott Studley Snyder comes out of there. The pride of Upper Arlington High School. He was a former assistant baseball coach when Ransom was there. On the ground to Votto. He'll feed Cingrani for the second out of the inning, and Ransom on to third base.
Good pursuit right there by Joey Votto. Bobbled it immediately, but he stayed right after it. And he was still able to get Barney at first base. Barney just trying to slice it that way, and it's a good job by both Votto and Cingrani. Cingrani makes a nice quick move to get to first base.
So now the pitcher to deal with. He struck out Villanueva his only other time up. We are in the 5th inning. Runner at third, 2 out. And the Cubs holding a 2-1 lead. Both of their runs coming against Cingrani in the 2nd inning. Strike 2. Soriano had a leadoff single in the inning, and on consecutive pitches stole second, stole third, scored on a fly ball by Scott Hairston. And the very next batter, the very next pitch, Ransom shot one of the seats in right center field. Inning over. 7th strikeout of the night for Cingrani. Reds have Bruce, Frazier, Heisey coming up, down a run. But right now it's time for our AT&T trivia question. Good one tonight. Prior to Tony Cingrani, who was the last Reds left-hander to win his first career major league start? That's a good question.
I wouldn't imagine you have to go back that far.
No, you don't. And really,
we saw Travis Wood last night.
Ooh, that's a good point. Very, very good point. Travis Wood pitched some good ball games for this team.
Yes, he did.
Jay Bruce to lead things off. Reds down 2-1. Way out in front. Reds have had only 2 base runners through the front 4. The first batter of the night, Chu, had a single into left field, and Heisey hit the home run to left, leading off the 3rd inning. Came with a fastball. 1-1 to Bruce. Frazier next, then Heisey. Started 2 on a breaking ball. So hearing this at bat, Chris talked about it before he ever threw a pitch tonight. Villanueva has thrown changeup, fastball, curveball. First 3 pitches to Jay Bruce.
I mean, he really pitches a lot like Bronson Arroyo. He just doesn't have that peculiar leg lift that Arroyo does straight left leg. Well, that's a big strike zone right there. Marvin Hudson calling that down and away. If I know that as Carlos Villanueva, I'm just pounding that part of the strike zone all night long.
Sounded like Jay broke his bat. He's taking a look at it. Apparently not. Well, he came inside with that pitch. See if he goes back outside again here on another 2-2. He did, and Jay rolled over. 1 out. We brought up last night how Jekyll and Hyde, and that's the best description you can use to describe this Reds offense. They scored 10 or more runs in a game more times than any team in Major League Baseball. They've scored 1 run or less the second most times among all teams in Major League Baseball. One hopper down to 3rd. Quickly 2 away.
You know, there's a stat out there. When you evaluate a team's offenses, how it compares to your win-loss record, called the Pythagorean theorem. You take all the runs you score versus all the runs that you give up, and you subtract, and if for every 10 more runs you score than give up, that's worth a win. But when you have an offense like the Reds, really hot or really cold, you mess that whole theorem all up.
And that was really the story, if you remember, our conversations, Chris, you and I had with the longtime Cardinal manager, Tony La Russa, where they'd come rolling into town. They'd be leading the league in runs scored. And we'd go down to his offense, and he'd say, believe me, you got to see our team play every day. It's really not like that. We'll have those games when we score, 10, 9, 11, 12. But then we'll have a pile of games consecutively where we're having to scratch and claw and do whatever you can to try and get 3 in a game. And really, that has been the description of the Reds the early part of this season. 2 base runners in a game a night. And remember, they only had 2 hits in the first 6 innings here last night against Travis Wood. One and 2 to Heisey. Fastball to the inside corner. Heisey can't believe that strike 3 call. 8 in a row retired by Villanueva.
Live, the pregame edition. You'll see the lineups before anyone else. Everything you need to know to get you ready for a Reds game. It's Reds Live. It's presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Jim Day in the press box, and I want to give you an update on Reds employee Chris Harrell, desperately needing a bone marrow transplant. It's been a tense last couple of days for Chris because they finally found a donor, but the person was in Germany. Now, because of a strike in Germany, they could not get a flight out of the country. Now, once someone donates their marrow, they have to get it to the person in need in 48 hours or less. So to me, by the grace of God, they were able to make some arrangements. They got the marrow here to Cincinnati. Chris had surgery today, a 4-hour and 15-minute procedure. Everyone that's talked to him says he's in high spirits. Now it is just a wait-and-see game if the marrow takes. But prayers answered that they did find a donor that closely matches Chris. And Chris, if you're watching out there, or if any family members are watching, can get a message to him. We're with you, brother. Stay strong.
No doubt about that.
Well, what an effort the Reds and Reds family have made to get all of that done.
It's a very special place, special organization.
Well, you're not kidding.
Special city. Encouraging so many around town to find out if they might be a match. And so many of you at home making yourself available to find out if you might have been that match. I bet Chris is watching right now. And our thoughts and prayers that everything just goes great. Leadoff double by Sapelt here in inning number 6. Cubs leading 2-1. Pitch in the dirt is 2-0 on Starlin Castro, who was struck out and grounded to short. You wonder with the Cubs, I mean, you have 2, 3, and 4 in their batting order. Sapelt not the accomplished base stealer that Soriano is, but Sapelt is a far faster man. Will they consider thinking about sending him down to third? Your initial reaction would be no, they probably wouldn't. They're going to see if Castro can get him in, or at the minimum get him over.
Well, they haven't seen Cingrani throw to second base either. And if he falls into a pattern, that's a good move right there by Cingrani to at least let Sapelt know that he's there. It's far easier to steal third base off a left-hander than it is a right-hander, because the lefty kind of turns your back on that runner. Not much of a lead, though, there by Sapelt. There's a couple of different ways really to steal third, or at least take a lead off second base to go to third. One is just to get a simple lead where you stop the runner and he tries to get as big a lead as possible. The other way is for a runner to take kind of a walking lead, where it's not very big, but he never really stops and he keeps that momentum going.
In the air, right field. Sapelt back to the bag to tag up. Bruce will let it fly, but Bruce way too deep in right center field to have a chance to get Sapelt. So Castro moves him along, and this becomes a very important batter in this game. Rizzo, 1 of 2, has already struck out once. Rizzo struck out 3 times in 6 at-bats here last night.
Well, Rizzo was one of the guys in that first inning that went down on the 9 strikes that Tony Cingrani threw in that first frame. Chased the fastball upstairs, grounded out to the second baseman his next time up. Now, what pitchers have done to Rizzo, at least have attempted to do so far, is to try to pitch him up. He holds his hands low. Anybody who holds his hands that low, you would think would have a hard time getting on top of the baseball that's up in the zone. You see where Cingrani tries to throw it. They're going to bring the infield in and try to cut the runoff.
Cingrani delivers. Swing and a miss on a pitch and almost hit him in the shoulder.
Yeah, if you're Anthony Rizzo, or really anybody facing Tony Cingrani, you got to tell yourself when you go to the plate, I am not swinging at anything that's above my waist. Interesting that Cingrani's going to go from the stretch right here. Usually a pitching coach or manager will tell the pitcher whatever you feel most comfortable with right here.
White and Phillips backhands from his knees, throw to the plate. Corky blocks it, and they got it. What a play by Phillips.
Nice play by Corky Miller. Yep, never let him get there. Well, what a play by Brandon Phillips, though. He goes over here, makes sure he gets down to block it. And Corky Miller with that left leg out there, shin guard blocking the plate.
Look at that throw. From his knee to the third base side of the plate.
You know, if you are lucky enough to be out here early in the afternoon, Brandon Phillips takes ground balls on his knees every day. On his knees, that's the way he starts out. So a play like that is not something that he just happened to be able to do. He's practiced that. He's got myelin working.
And now they have Rizzo caught. And he's out. Already out, called by the first base umpire. Those are the kind of things that Dale Swaim has been watching pretty much on a nightly basis. What a play by Phillips. What a block to the plate by Miller. It remains a one-run Chicago lead. Penn Station East Coast subs near sections 130 and 414 have those signature subs, authentic fresh cut fries. Why not stop by here or around town? 381 Reds for tickets, or log on to reds.com/tickets tonight. Corky Miller to be followed by Cingrani, then Shin-Soo Choo. 2-1 Chicago. Cubs scored there 2 in the second inning. Reds got a home run from Chris Heisey leading off the third. Cubs with 4 hits, the Reds with a pair.
You know, between innings they did a little puzzler on the scoreboard. They camouflaged the player's face and said, "Who am I?" And they gave a couple of hints, and one of the hints was, I'm the only Reds player, active Reds player, to have played at Synergy Field. That would be Corky Miller.
How about that?
That is something else, isn't it?
really is. That is really hard to believe. Of course, this ballpark's a lot older than I think a lot of us realize. As a swing and a miss by Miller, he's gone on strikes to begin the 6th inning. This ballpark, Great American Ballpark, opened in 2003. I think the reason why this ballpark doesn't seem that old, and don't get me wrong, it's not very old, but it's because of all of the changes they make for the better in this ballpark seemingly every year. I mean, the Reds have just poured money into this ballpark to make it better and better for the fans.
Yeah, it doesn't look at all.
No.
I mean the red seats and the way the structure is and so on, but the fine details are way different than they were when they opened.
Man. Remember, it was just that black backdrop when it opened. Then CBTS and Cincinnati Bell, along with the Reds, came up with a riverboat idea, put that up on the top. The tall stacks, the power stacks out there in right center field. Got the new Budweiser bar down the right field line, which overlooks the visitors' bullpen. All of the changes out of the plaza alongside the Reds Hall of Fame. Big Red Machine Room down to third base line. They have just done a fantastic job trying to make it better for those that spend their money to come down here. 3 strikeouts in a row now for Villanueva, 6 in the game. And here comes Chu with 2 down and nobody on.
Now this is the most strikeouts that Villanueva has ever had against the Reds in one ball game. And he's been pitching against them since 2006. 5 starts overall against the Reds, and he's on a roll right now. Only 2 hits through the first 5 2/3 for the Reds.
Chu has one of them. Trying to bunt his way on. Slow breaking ball. Rizzo, a diving play, and safe is the call at first. Nice play by Rizzo, but then once he had the ball, it looked like it just trickled away from him momentarily, which perhaps allowed Chu to win the race to the bag.
He dives for it, dishes it off to Villanueva. Interesting move right there by Chu. He slides into the bag. A lot of times you're going to get there at the same time as another player, and you're going to inadvertently slow down a little bit. Well, what a good Expo look right there, huh? No argument by the Cubs. No argument from Munchin's Furniture, who brings us that Expo.
So Chu at first base, his 2nd hit of the night. And now Cozart 0 for 2. Pair of ground balls, one of them a double play in the 1st inning. Oh, what a beautiful night here in downtown Cincinnati. Great weather. Much better crowd on hand here tonight. Of course, we have a lot of straight A students that are at the ballpark tonight. Popped it up. This will do it in the Reds inning. A hit, a man left. Off to the 7th. Cubs still lead by a run. game summary. Sac fly RBI by Scott Hairston after Alfonso Soriano had a hit and a pair of stolen bases. The man he just high-fived after scoring on the very next pitch, Cody Ransom. Homer to the first row in right center, 2-0 game. First pitch in the Reds' third. Heisey a home run to left, his second of the year. Cubs had a runner at third. Phillips, a perfect throw. Corky Miller blocked the plate, denying Dave Chappelle home, keeping it at a 2-1 ball game. That was in the 6th inning. So here we are in the 7th. Soriano 1 out of 2 in a game, down a strike, and it's 1-1. Soriano had that single to begin the 2nd inning, and on back-to-back pitches stole second, stole third. He only had 1 steal all year long before tonight. Two and one to Soriano, and it swung on and fouled out of play. Of course, Soriano is one of less than a handful of players in the history of the game to have 40 or more home runs in a season and steal 40 or more bases in that same year. And he was the most recent to do it in 2006, playing for the Washington Nationals. Jose Canseco the first to do it in '88 in Oakland. In '96, Barry Bonds did it for the Giants. And in '98, Alex Rodriguez for Seattle. And then Soriano. It's hard to believe he did that in Washington. That was only their 2nd year back, moving to the nation's capital. Three and two to Soriano. Hard hit ball. And he's aboard to begin the 7th inning under the glove of Kozar.
Hits it hard in the hole. Looks like Kozar's there to make the play and just doesn't get his glove down.
Well, let's see if Soriano is off and running again like he did back in that 2nd inning. Not running on this first pitch, and it's low ball 1 to Wellington Castillo. Two-0 delivery on the inside corner, and that is an area of the strike zone tonight where both teams have taken issue from time to time with Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire, on the inside corner to a right-handed batter, outside corner to the left-handed batting Jay Bruce. You may remember his last time up in the 5th inning, and that's right where Hudson sets up. See Cingrani there using the closer to a slide step in that delivery to him.
Yeah, you know what, and you don't have to use it every pitch. You just have to use it every once in a while just to let that runner know that I've got this. And if you're going to go on my first move, And I slice step. I'm going to get that ball there at about 1.1, 1.15. Give Corky Miller plenty of opportunity to throw him out. Did it again.
Yep, struck him out on the pitch. Well out of the strike zone. That is 8 of them tonight for Tony Cingrani.
He just goes right up the ladder. Cingrani does. Where he really gets his body going in the direction of the target and the catcher. A lot of guys are falling off to the side, but you can see Cingrani takes pitching, and it's a straightforward exercise, linear exercise, and he just goes right towards home plate with it. Gotta like his delivery.
1 out in the inning, and here's Hairston. Starts him out with a breaking ball away. Hairston, the sac fly RBI to drive in the first run of the game. Plating Soriano back in that 2-run second inning. And then flied out to the center fielder Chu his last time up. Soriano at first, 1 away. A ball and a strike on Hairston. Reds will have Votto, Phillips, and Bruce coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning. Straight up in the air, and that's out number 2. And now that gives us a chance quickly to answer our AT&T trivia question. Who was the last Reds left-hander prior to Cingrani 5 days ago to win in his first career major league start? And this was a guy you and I were thinking about all along.
Yeah.
Tom Browning. September the 9th, 1984, out at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Of course, Tom grew up in Wyoming. And tells a story frequently about landing and seeing Los Angeles and then going to Dodger Stadium, where growing up in Wyoming, the national baseball, the old NBC game of the week. And all of us remember as kids, seemingly every week it would either be the Reds or the Dodgers. Every single week, and you'd see the Dodger Stadium.
Joe Garagiola,
yeah,
Tony Kubek.
Absolutely. And seeing that place in person. Breaking ball down low, 2-0.
Long way from Wyoming.
What a career Tom Browning had. Boy, he was one outstanding pitcher for a long time. And the Reds have not had anybody like him ever since from the left side. That's what's so exciting about looking at this current Red staff. Cueto, Homer Bailey, Mike Leake. Of course, Arroyo and Latos came from other places, and now you add Cingrani to that mix. Thinking that for a franchise that for so long produced so few pitchers, forget guys that won a lot of games, they produced so few number of pitchers that just stayed in your rotation for a year or 2 years.
Well, I think everything's gotten better. Scouting has gotten better. Signing has gotten better, meaning you draft guys that can play instead of draft guys that you can just sign. And the development has gotten excellent. Boy, the minor league coaches are just so good.
Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Ransom.
I started to talk earlier about the numbers that Cingrani put up in the low minor leagues. His first year when he came out of Rice, went to Billings, he had 13 starts, 51 innings pitched, and he struck out 80. I mean, you talk about buzzing through that league up there. So now the next year they put him in Bakersfield, A-ball, went 5-1, struck out 71 in 56 innings. I mean, he's just been a strikeout machine. Move him up to Double-A that same year, which was last year. Won another 5 games there, so he was 10-4 last year. And of course, came right out of Double-A, went to the major leagues last year. Pitched in 3 games and only gave up 1 run.
2-2. Well, back out of play. Of course, Baseball America names its minor league all-star team at the end of every year. Now, remember, you're talking about all the minor league baseball. Doesn't matter what the level is. They pick 8 position players, and they pick 2 starting pitchers. The Reds had 2 players on that team last year. Billy Hamilton, Tony Cingrani. Two and two the count. It's run full, and now Soriano will start on this 3-2 delivery. 2 away in the inning. 1-run game. We're in the 7th.
Yeah, to the one batter in this Cubs lineup that has had the best swings on him all night. The home run that he hit opposite field, and then the double right down the third baseline. So Ranson, who is figuring to get a fastball right here, will probably get one here on a 3-2 count.
And he was ready for it.
Yeah.
Action in the Reds bullpen for the first time tonight. Cingrani 3 pitches shy of 100 in the game. Logan Andrusik, who replaced the injured Jonathan Broxton last night, has worked the last couple of days, but last night he only faced 1 batter and struck him out. He fanned the side the day before his only inning of work. 3-2 once more, and once again fouled away by Ransom. How about that? If that is his final inning of work tonight, how about start number 2 for Tony Cingrani? 7 innings, allows 2 runs, punches out 9, does not walk a batter. Coverage of Reds baseball right along with you with MLB.TV. MLB.TV is baseball everywhere. Boy, has this young fella been impressive, hasn't he, Chris Welsh?
Well, you're not kidding about that. Getting high fives, congratulations from everybody in the bench in the in-between innings. I imagine that will be it for Tony Cingrani, now being talked to by Brian Price. Well, Brian Price has got to be just super fired up. I mean, no walks, 9 punch outs, 7 innings of 5-hit baseball. He's down right now 2-1, but He's still in the ball game. I mean, if you're Brian Price, you're thinking, man, look at Tony Cingrani I get to work with. Aroldis Chapman I get to work with. Johnny Cueto, Latos, you just go on down the line. He does a great job, but the Reds have provided him some serious arms with which to work.
Have they ever? And this on this homestand, the Reds are 7-1. They're starting pitchers in 8 games. An ERA of under 1.5. 1.5. 1-2 to Votto. And a weak roller to the right side. This will be the first out of the inning. Cubs pitching's done a pretty good number on Joey Votto the first 2 games of this series. Struck him out 3 times. Going 0 for 5 last night, and he's hitless in 3 at-bats tonight. So now Brandon Phillips. We brought up the Cubs starters. I mean, look, as bad as it has been, and Dale Swaim is the only guy who could possibly put into words how bad it has been. But maybe the only thing he's been able to hang his hat on through the first 18 games of this season, his starting pitchers have the 3rd lowest ERA among all starting staffs in the National League. Barely over a 3 earned run average. In fact, it's probably lower than that after the 6 1/3 innings of 1-run baseball by Villanueva here tonight. Behind only the Cardinals in Atlanta, slightly better than the Reds. Look at all the teams on that list. We'll go back to that list in a minute. Think of all of the games over 500. 4 of the 5 teams on that list are right now. St. Louis, 3 over. Atlanta, 8 over. The Reds, 4 over. Washington, a game over. And then you have the Cubs, 8 games under 500. So whether it's their lack of hitting, their bullpen struggles, their very poor defense, Phillips fooled badly there.
Yeah, just changing speeds every other pitch. Villanueva's got everybody looking just like Brandon Phillips did on that last pitch.
And he has only needed 76 pitches so far in this game. Diving play made by Ransom, and then throws it away.
Well, it turns into a base runner for the Reds with the third baseman Ransom throwing that ball away from the first baseman. But let's take a look at our Mazda pitch by pitch. Carlos Villanueva, Brandon Phillips. Brandon's getting some off-speed pitches here and there, and then he tries to sneak something by him on the inner part of the plate. Looked like a changeup, and Brandon rips it down the line. Nice backhanded play by Ransom. That'll get the first base. That's our Mazda pitch by pitch. Kind of give you a little insight as to how much Villanueva has been changing speeds. But he got that one changeup up.
Let's see if the Reds can make them pay for the defensive miscue. Jay Bruce Sabato. Breaking ball up and away, ball 1. Bruce tonight has struck out and grounded out to first. Bruce delivered late last night. Hit that home run, his first of the year, that came in the 7th inning. We're in the 7th right now. And had the game tying 2-run double in the 13th inning. 2-0. And Bruce looking for something to drive here on a 2-0 count. His team down a run and a tying run aboard.
A lot of times you get a 2-0 count, you're thinking, all right, this good count here, I'm going to get a fastball. Put a good swing on it here, I'm going to go. But against Villanueva, no way you're going to get a fastball. Does and misses downstairs.
Pretty impressive right there.
He's had a couple of things that have been really impressive so far this year. Number one is that any runners that have been on base they've all been stranded. Number two, batting average against on ball and play is down below 190. So eventually that's going to even out, but they're not hitting very hard.
Green light on 3-0.
3-0 changeup. That'll get you thinking a little bit. That's a 1 count, and you figure, you know what? I'm going to cut him loose on this, give him the green light, because chances are I'm finally going to guess fastball and get a fastball. He got a fastball on a 2-0 count and a changeup on a 3-0 count.
Chris brought up earlier, if you weren't with us, with Heisey hitting the home run tonight. The only 4 runs that have been scored on Villanueva all year long are on 4 home runs.
Yeah.
That's why Chris mentioned that runners that have gotten on base, everyone has been stranded so far. There's ball 4, and now all of a sudden an error and a walk. Reds have the tying run at second, the go-ahead run at first, and here comes Todd Frazier with 1 out.
I get the feeling that ever since he got behind in the count 2-0 to Jay Bruce, Villanueva just didn't really want to pitch to Bruce. I mean, got away with a 3-0 pitch, a changeup, but when you throw a changeup on 3-0, where do you go from there? You don't have the fastball to bust by him. Try to make Bruce chase something. I think he'd rather pitch with 2 runners on and Frazier at the plate than to Jay Bruce. He's handled Frazier. Strike out and the ground ball.
Todd waiting. 2 on and 1 out here in the 7th. First pitch swinging, a roller, and here's a double play to end the inning. Holy post. An error man left. We go to the 8th. Off a 3-game series with the Brewers, sponsored by M&M's. We have the fireworks show on Friday, May the 10th. Saturday, don't forget, the first 30,000 fans through the gates get the Aroldis Chapman bobblehead. And the first 10,000 moms on Sunday, May the 12th, get a Mother's Day Reds tote bag. That's going to be a great weekend. 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or visit Reds.com/tickets. All righty, end of 7. An outstanding effort tonight once more by Tony Cingrani, but right now on the short end of a 1-run ball game, and he'll give way to Logan Ondrusek.
Well, the 3rd night in a row that we've seen Logan Ondrusek, although last night he only came in for 1/3 of an inning, pitched a total of 6 pitches. So he still should have something in the tank. for Andrusik. 6 games overall. 5 innings, 6 strikeouts. He came in and struck out the side. That was J.J. Hoover, who came in and struck out the side last night.
So did Chapman.
Andrusik came in and struck out the only batter he faced.
But he did strike out the side the day before.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yep. Two runs, 5 hits in air, and 2 men left on base for Chicago. Reds 1 run, only 3 base hits, no errors, and they've stranded a pair. 1 in each of the last 2 innings. Darwin Barney leading things off, and this is an inning where you do every inning, obviously, but an inning where Andrusik really needs to take care of this number 8 hole hitter. The pitcher is going to bat here in the 8th inning. There is no way they are taking Villanueva out of this game. Very low pitch count, and he has been dealing all night long. 7 innings, 83 pitches in the game for Carlos Villanueva. Wanted that call and didn't get it from Marvin Hudson.
Corky held it up there just an extra moment, hoping he'd buy that call.
Well, now after being ahead at 1 ball and 2 strikes, Andrusik has gone full on Barney.
It really hasn't finished his curveball the last couple of times he's thrown it. Going to get a fastball here.
3-2 pitch on the ground to Kozar. Villanueva struck out twice, and now behind 0-2. That's a veteran move right there by Corky Miller. I mean, the little things, the guys that have been around the track. That ball was hit right there, and he just waited. Villanueva wasn't going anywhere. Sometimes those balls will spin around right off home plate. And he waited to make sure that thing just maybe hit a little clump of dirt and roll right back into fair ground before he picked that thing up. Thinking he might steal it out. Well, he got it on the next pitch anyway. 2 away. Coming up right after the game. Jim Day, Jeff Pecoro. Reds Live. Brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. Reds Live. Right after the game. Franchise record continues to march on. A 6th consecutive game now for Reds pitching, striking out 10 or more batters. That is a modern day Reds record.
Well, you know what they want here.
Oh yeah.
10 is one thing, and that's the standard that we go by. I mean, if you set that bar at 10, that's pretty good. But if you're holding a ticket in your hand, on the back of the ticket it says if Reds pitchers strike out 11, I get a free pizza. That's what they're looking for here.
And I heard our buddy Lance McAllister on the radio today. I don't know if you heard this bit today.
I did not.
He went back and was talking about all the number of people that have been through the turnstiles on the games where the Reds have struck out. 11 or more batters in games here at Great American Ballpark already this year, and you multiply that by what would be the normal price of that pizza.
Okay.
They're knocking on the door of $900,000.
And we're only 20 games into the season.
And this is now the crowd anticipating the final out. And strikeout number 11. Instead, it's ball 4. Boy, that's a tough one to issue right there to Chappelle, who has all of 3 hits and 24 at bats to face the best hitter in the Cub lineup in a 1-run game. Now tonight, Castro is hitless in 3 at bats. But there is no doubt whatsoever that he is the best offensive player in this Chicago lineup on a daily basis. And when you talk about Castro, it is a daily basis. In the air, right field. They'll get him out, and that'll end the inning. Heisey to lead it off. The last time he led off an inning, he played long ball. Reds are down a run. Chris Heisey accounting for the lone Reds run so far tonight. First pitch in the 3rd inning.
He got a fastball. First pitch fastball, kind of a get-ahead one by Villanueva. That's the only mistake that Villanueva has made, and very doubtful here as Heisey leads the inning off that he will get that same offering from the Cubs right-hander.
So here we go. Reds batting in the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing by a single run. Nate Schierholtz replaces Scott Hairston out in right field, the only change for the Cubs. And a one-hopper down to 3rd.
Well, they have done that on that changeup an awful lot tonight.
Another bouncer. That is a fair ball. And they still get Miller at first base.
Well, Ransom stays with it. It looks like when he falls on his knees, he's not going to be able to get up and throw Miller out, but he does, and a good stretch and pick at the other end by Anthony Rizzo. Both corners of the Cubs doing something on this play.
Jack Hanahan going to come up and pitch hit for Andrusic, who works an inning, gets a strikeout and a walk. Hanahan had a game-tying pinch hit triple into right field here last night that came in the 7th inning. What a job he's done so far off the Reds bench.
Previous to tonight, the best game that Carlos Villanueva has ever pitched against the Reds was the last time he pitched against the Reds. 2 years ago, as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays, he came in here and he beat the Reds with a 7-inning effort, 2-1.
This is really the first Reds batter that has shown any real level of patience throughout the entire night. Hanahan's just stepped up there and looked at 3 in a row out of the strike zone. Saw Manny Parra, the left-hander, Aroldis Chapman alongside should the Reds take the lead. And Hanahan thought that was certainly ball 4.
Wow. I'm sure that he's getting some barking. Jerry Meals, that is the, or make it Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire. Our Fox Tracks, if you want to believe that, shows that as a strike. I can tell you the Fox Tracks is accurate, but not 100% accurate.
High fly ball into right center field. Chappelle drifting into track, and that'll end the inning. Reds gone in order. 9th inning coming up. Cubs still lead by a run. Came by who else? Brandon Phillips. Infield in, bouncing ball from his knees. A perfect strike to Corky Miller, who had home plate blocked, denying Dave Chappelle from scoring a run. Our John Morrell hot dog play of the game. Well, the Reds right now will take the field defensively here in the top of the 9th inning. And they're down a run. 2-1 ball game. Cubs got both their runs way back in the 2nd inning against Tony Cingrani. The Reds have been held in check by Carlos Villanueva to a run on 3 hits, and now it's Manny Parra on from the Reds bullpen.
Now, this is one of the tighter games that Manny Parra has appeared in. He's been a guy really that's been the long man down there, the mop-up man, if you want to call him that. Left-hander with a fastball that is in the low 90s, low to mid 90s. Got a good arm, good breaking ball, and a good changeup.
His last game was 2 days ago on Sunday. He came in after the Reds had blown that game wide open against the Miami Marlins. Reds were leading 10-2. Parra came into the game, and it wound up being a 10-6 final score. Parra gave up 3 of the 4 runs he allowed on Sunday, and a 3-run home run to Miguel Olivo. Tony Cingrani, rock solid outing again here tonight. His second major league start. He won his first one going 5 and allowing 1 run, but tonight he went 7. Allowed 2 runs. Did not walk a batter all night long. So in his first 2 major league starts, he's gone 12 innings, allowed 3 runs. He's punched out 17 and walked 3. Oh, and 2 the count on Rizzo.
That's the one they were looking for. The pizza strikeout.
Yes. The 1 away here in the 9th inning. Soriano has 2 of the Cubs' 5 hits in the game. He scored 1 of their runs, and it's in there a strike.
Can't you see the poor guy back working in the back of the pizza shop, watching the game on a little tube TV up above the oven? He sees that 11th strikeout, while all these people, 20,000 of them, are cheering. All he can think about is lots and lots of pizza.
I have a feeling he's thinking about lots and lots of pizza a lot of nights. The way this Red staff is going right now.
Man.
Franchise record 6 straight games, striking out 10 or more batters. And we mentioned not one time has that number been 10. Shattered bat roller to Cozart on the run. Can't find the handle. Then throws it in the stands.
Boy, the Reds defense really breaking down. 3 errors last night. Could have been 4 errors. Maybe even more than that. They booted the ball around tonight. This is the error that he's going to get. He'll get 2 errors on this play, if there is such a thing. Can't get it out of his glove and then throws it over the head of Joey Votto. Nearly picks off Sarah down there in the camera booth.
That was scored a hit and an error. Wow. David DeJesus running for Soriano out at second base, and now the batter Wellington Castillo. Boy, that could be a big play in this game.
That's a play that Jack Cozart makes more often than not.
Sure. All right, runner at second, 1 out. And now Wellington Castillo. Takes off the outside corner, and Parr has fallen behind 2-0. No action in the Cub bullpen. Villanueva appears to be getting ready for a shot at a complete game in the bottom of the 9th inning, and why wouldn't he? They had Marmol and James Russell up in the 8th inning, but neither one of them throwing right now. Villanueva at the 92 pitch mark. Long look at second. Pulled foul. 2 balls and a strike. Reds have a top of the order coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning. They have already won 4 games on this homestand, have the Reds, in their final at bat. Strike 3 called. 4th time Castillo has struck out tonight. Good pitch by Manny Parr.
Strikeout number 12 by Reds pitcher. Just an inside fastball that freezes Castillo.
And that's that part of the plate that Marvin Hudson's been calling strikes all night. All night long. So now Nate Shearholtz, who came on defensively in the bottom of the 8th inning, replacing Scott Hairston, will bat for the first time in the game. Strike 1. Runner out at second base, De Jesus, with 2 outs in the inning. Top of the 9th, and the Cubs leading by a run. Parr to the plate. Breaking ball that got away from him, up and in. Count even at 1-1. Shearholtz won a World Series ring with the Giants last year, despite the fact that he did not finish the season with the Giants. Traded away at the All-Star break for Hunter Pence. 2-1 pitch. Evens account. Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Giants, brought Shearholtz's ring with him when the Giants came into Chicago, so he could personally give it to Shearholtz a little over a week ago. Two on the way. 93-mile-per-hour fastball missed. You've got Ransom on deck, who's had a good night at the plate. This is Shearholtz's first time up all night. You got lefty against lefty. Big pitch coming up for Parra in a 1-run game in the 9th inning. Got him swinging. Nice job by Manny Parra. Strikes out the side. So here we go. Top of the order. Can the Reds do it again?
Ohio has been brought to you by Cincinnati Children's Hospital, ranking 3rd in the nation on U.S. News and World Report's 2012 honor roll for Best Children's Hospital. And by Chevy. Visit your Tri-State Chevy dealer today and get great pricing on a brand new 2013 Chevy.
Here we are. Bottom of the 9th inning. Couple of changes. DeJesus stays into play. Center field, pushing Sepelt over to left. Shearholtz in right. Story tonight has been that man, Carlos Villanueva. He's held the Reds down to a run on 3 hits, and he allowed a base hit to the very first batter of the game. And that's a man who leads things off here. In fact, Chu has 2 of the 3 hits. The other, a solo home run by Chris Heisey on the first pitch way back in the 3rd inning. Breaking ball, fouled out of play.
Now, you had to figure that if you're Dale Swain, there's no way you're going to the bullpen right here. The Cubs have blown 5 save opportunities this season by 5 different pitchers. We saw one last night. Michael Bowden blew it, so it is going to be all in the hands of Villanueva here tonight. He has yet to hit the 100-pitch mark.
Well, they have Marmol getting ready down in their bullpen.
They pitched a couple innings last night, Carlos did.
2-1 on Chu. And that's that pitch, and we've said it once, we've said it 10 times. Batter after batter's complained about it, and Marvin Hudson has been right on point with it all night long.
You know, if it touches that line, according to our box, it's a strike. Doesn't have to be inside the box, just touching it.
Two and 2-2. Started 2, did not go around. Oh, here we go. 3-2 count. Leadoff man. 1-run game, bottom of the 9th. And he draws a walk to begin the inning. That is only the 2nd walk issued all night long by Villanueva. So, decision time now for Dusty Baker. Your team has only managed a total of 3 hits all night long. Joey Votto has had a very rough time, along with everybody else except for Chu, with a man on the mound. So are you giving up an out here in the bottom of the 9th inning? Or are you letting Cozart swing away? Cubs wondering the same thing. Wanted to see if Cozart might show his hand. Choices managers have to make, and they have to make them right now. And Cozart puts down the bunt and successfully advances a runner along. So, of course, there might have been a little apprehension here for Cozart the last time he tried to bunt. Nearly broke both of his fingers, and he gets it down beautifully here.
Now he still chases the ball up and out of the strike zone right there. That ball is about eye high, but he does a nice job in getting it down. Forced the first baseman Rizzo to field it, so they're able to get the sacrifice. But this will now mean that they'll probably walk Joey Votto, or will they?
They're coming to get him.
I'm surprised at this.
It's going to be Marmol. We gave you the numbers last night for Joey Votto against Marmol. Marmol has owned Votto, but we're talking about Joey Votto. What a night for Villanueva. So be our Skyline Chili call to the pen. Marmol against Votto. Game on the line when we return. stands at second base. Joey Votto coming up against Carlos Marmol, who takes over on the mound. And there you see the numbers. 1 for 15 is Votto against Marmol. That includes a strikeout here last night. So Marmol getting a chance to close it out. He's already lost the closer's job once this year. Tying run in scoring position. And it's a fastball inside to Votto.
Well, we saw from Marmol last night, and he pitched 2 innings, overall 26 pitches. Walked a couple of batters, did not give up a hit. And he was able to get his slider over better than he was able to get his fastball over.
Votto never leaving the batter's box. And a bullet up the middle and into right center field. And Votto has tied the game. Money, money, money.
Hit it hard. Looked at the first pitch, got a pitch right on the inner part of the plate, and right underneath the diving second baseman Darwin Barney. Here comes Chu. What a combination those two guys have been. And it's all tied at 2.
The guy's something else, man. Be having a bad night. But more times than not since he came to the big leagues, you put that man right there in a spot to tie a game or win a game. And he's right there for you. Same holds true for Phillips. Ball went up and in. You see his numbers even worse than Votto's. 3 for 24. But Votto delivered a hit to tie it. And now Phillips looking for one to win it. One and one. Close the book on Villanueva. He cannot win it. He cannot lose it. And you can take it to the bank. There are Cub fans screaming back in Chicagoland about that decision made by Dale Swain. And look, it happens to every manager, but the way things have gone, unfortunately, for Marmol for the better part in and out of the closer's job the last couple of years, and Villanueva pitching the kind of game he was pitching here tonight.
Well, if you've got bullpen by committee, and he's pretty much said that's what he's going to have to go with right now, and based on Marmol's history, that's probably the best way to go. You've only got one left-hander down that bullpen. You can't give all the blame to Dale Swain when you've only got one southpaw, and it's James Russell. He pitched an inning in the third last night and pitched the previous night as well.
No, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm going right to the heart of the matter on this thing. I don't care who's in their bullpen or anything else. When you're a fan of a team and you've seen this act before, and your team has started a season 5-13, and a guy's working on a 3-hitter in the ninth, and with one out, and you're taking him out of the game. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
You're not bringing in a Aroldis Chapman.
You're not bringing in anybody.
Right.
What you're saying is just leave the starter in. I'm with you there. I make Villanueva say, this is your game to win or lose right here.
Yeah.
And he's enough a veteran to be able to do that. But the Cubs have seen a lot of close games this year.
Well, you're not lying.
Of course, they're 5-13. And every one of their games has been decided by 4 runs or less. On the 5 wins, they've got a pair by 1 run, and then 1 win each by 2 runs, 3 runs, and 4 runs.
Well, you mentioned all of their games decided by 4. 15 of the 18 have been decided by 3 or less. All right, now Jay Bruce again. You know, like Votto. And you can see in the defensive swing, you can see based on the track record of Marmol against these three hitters why he went the route that he did. But so far, Marmol's allowed a hit and a walk. And now Bruce with a chance to win it. The winning run is in scoring position at second base. 1 out in the inning. Votto ties it with a hit. Scoring Chu began the inning with a walk. Boy, how did Castillo even see that pitch once it ran up and into left-handed batting Bruce? One and one to Jay Bruce. Fooled him badly there. There's that slider. Now Jay going to walk a good 20 feet outside the batter's box, 25 feet to the grass. And now finally settling in the box. Behind 1-2 with a winning run at second base. Struck him out. 2 away in the inning.
Back-to-back off-speed pitches for Marmol against Jay Bruce. That was a hanging slider right there. Bruce just swung right through it.
All right, now Frazier with a chance. And a fastball in the outside corner, knee high, strike one. Reds have tied it in the bottom of the 9th inning. They tied it in the 7th inning last night, fell behind in the 13th by a pair. Came up with 3 to win it in the bottom of the inning. 0-1. And right down the can, a fastball. Frazier looks at strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out, winning run at second, and a slider away that Frazier does not chase. He is not offered at a single pitch in his at bat. A fastball in the outside corner, perfectly located on the first pitch, and a fastball down the middle he took for a strike, and has not chased a pair of sliders on consecutive pitches. Now 2-2. Oh, he had a good rip at that fastball and found it straight back. Another slider, full count. Marmol off the back of the mound on the grass, now climbs up the back of the hill. Right foot on the rubber. Big deep breath, looking in for the sign. 3-2 pitch, 2-2 game. 2 out. Ball 4 and they're loaded. Of course, Heisey on the first pitch back in the 3rd inning. A home run to left field. Risey trying to end it. Of course, you got to be aware if you're Votto of the wild pitch. Boy, there's another fastball taken by a Reds batter. Strike one. Marmol often throws that slider in the dirt. You brought it up last night, Chris. Just threw it right by him. Well, he was ahead 0-2 on Frazier. Then started to nibble around with that slider.
And maybe one reason why you think that he would not throw a slider. You get ahead in the count like this, you like to waste a slider down the dirt, but he doesn't want to take a chance to let one get away.
He's just rearing back and firing gas to Heisen. That time Marmol did throw the slider, although it stayed up. They are loaded. Winning run at third with 2 outs in the ninth. And a bouncer down to third. And we are playing extra innings for a second consecutive night as the Reds have tied it up. This will be the 5th extra inning game of the season for Cincinnati. Of course, the Reds played 13 of them over the weekend with the Marlins in town. Dale Swayman, the Cubs 0-2 in 2 extra inning games this season. The Reds 2 up and 2 down. They've won their last 2 after losing their first 2. So Manny Parra coming off a rock solid 9th inning. Struck out the side. Should not have allowed a base runner. He was charged with an infield hit on that broken bat roller off the bat of Soriano. And Cozart fielded cleanly, but then juggled the ball, wound up throwing it in the stands. It was scored a hit and an error, and Parra pitched around it with 1 out. Cody Ransom, the batter. That's a good first pitch right there to Ransom, who's had a good night.
Well, he's been ready for a fastball all night long.
And 1 to Cody Ransom. Boy, once more off speed. 0-2. Chris, we've not seen a lot of Parra in a red uniform.
Right.
Give us a little scouting report on Manny Parra.
Manny Parra is a guy that has been a starter and a reliever. He's got a good arm. I mean, he throws anywhere from 90 to 94 miles an hour. You see the sharp breaking ball he has. He's got a good changeup. He's got all the tools to have a very good starting pitcher in him. Overall, he's about 7 games under 500 in his career. He started 74 games in his career. He's 26 and 33. Lifetime earned run average over 5. So he's one of these guys that is kind of an enigma where you look at him warm up, you say, wow. Then he goes out and he gets hit. Can't figure out why. Maybe they found a spot for him in the bullpen, though, where he can go out, kind of fit right in, and then his stuff will translate into much better success if you use him right.
Two to Ransom will be followed in the inning by Darwin Barney, and then the pitcher slot Marmol. Obviously they will bat for him in this 2-2 game in the 10th inning. Well, he got ahead on 2, and now he's run the count full.
Yeah, when Parra gets into trouble, a lot of times he creates that trouble by himself by walking batters.
In the air, right field. That'll back up Bruce, but he has room this time. Out number 1. You look up and down that Reds bullpen, Chris, and they've already used on Brusick. There is no way. I'm not going to say no way just knowing the makeup of the guy, but I think we would all be very surprised if we saw Sam LeCure in this game. After throwing nearly 50 pitches last night. Broxton took that line drive off the hand. Alfredo Simon, another guy who's worked multiple days consecutively. Aroldis Chapman has pitched in 5 of his 7 games on this homestand. And J.J. Hoover has been just about as busy as anybody in baseball. Now, Chapman was up earlier, you may remember. The only 2 relievers that have gotten loose since Andrusic came in a game in relief of Cingrani were Parra and Chapman. And Parra's spot in the batting order due up 2nd in the bottom of the 10th inning. 1-1 to Darwin Barney. Barney hitless in 3 at bats. 3 for 26. Since he was activated off the disabled list. Final exhibition games the Cubs played before their season opener, they played down in Houston. In the air, left field. Heisey back at the wall, and Darwin Barney, wow, hits a 2-1 pitch in the seats in left field. And the Cubs have a 3-2 lead.
Darwin Barney's not known for his power. He probably just got the pitch to the spot where he's got enough power to get it out of here. Dead left field. That's a stunner. Wow.
So now Julio Bourbon just picked up after being released by the Rangers, claimed off waivers technically. Boy, who would have thunk that? Darwin Barney. Homer with 1 out here in the top of the 10th inning off Manny Parra to give the Cubs a lead once more. Reds just got finished tying the game. Reds will have Corky Miller, the pitcher spot, and then Chu in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Bourbon here is batting for Marmol, who goes 2/3, walks 2, allows a hit, a strikeout, not charged with a run. But the hit he gave up to Votto allowed the tying run to score. Oh boy, 2-2 to Bourbon. Of course, the Reds got good news last night when Sean Marshall began his rehab. And there is no doubt the Reds miss him. He has pitched in 1 inning of 1 game this entire season. Miller better get to it quick. That ball may have hit Bourbon, and he's on his way to second base.
He can scoot a little bit.
That'll be a hit and then an error.
That was a dangerous play for Joey Votto as that ball got there just about the same time the runner did. With his left arm extended over the baseline, you see some dangerous injuries from time to time as that runner runs right into the outstretched left arm of the first baseman. Fortunately, it didn't happen to Votto. He was able to get it back in time. The ball hit the runner right in the back.
So now Dave Chappelle, and there goes the runner, and no chance.
Man, oh man.
I mean, I'm not even sure if Parra turned around to look at him, and the scouting report on Bourbon is highly touted prospect with Texas, that he can fly. Parra having a hard time finding the strike zone now all of a sudden, and having a hard time getting outs. That was a little dribbler in front of the plate by Bourbon, but you compound that by allowing such an easy stolen base. Parra gave up 4 runs on Sunday, and now the home run to Darwin Barney, breaking a 2-2 tie here tonight. There is no one getting loose in the Reds bullpen. That gives you an idea about where that group is as far as use on this homestand. What's ironic is it's not from being used because you've had bad starting pitching. You'd be hard pressed to find a better 10-game run for the Reds where they have gotten better starting pitching than what they're getting now. That'll fall in a base hit, and that's another run. 3-1 Chicago.
Boy, you come back, you tie the game up in the 9th inning. You've been dominated all night long by the other team starter. And you run into problems like this in the 10th. Well, the Reds only have 4 hits. I mean, it's not a complete breakdown of their pitching staff that got them to the point they are. Tony Cingrani pitched a whale of a ball game.
Right.
This last run was really a product of a swinging bunt, an error, a stolen base, and then a little bloop single. So these things happen, but giving up 1 run and a home run is one thing, but every run that you add on makes it tougher and tougher to come back, even against a beat up bullpen like the Cubs.
Alfredo Simon now up and throwing in the Reds bullpen. And there's a strike to Castro. Castro got something in his eye. Third extra inning game for the Reds in the last 4 days. And the other two went 13. Runner goes. And no chance for Miller. None. Two ball game. Cubs in front, runner at second, 1 out in the inning. 2-1 on Starlin Castro. Big rip by the Cubs shortstop, fouled out of play. And it's starting to rain. Well, this was in the forecast. You heard it from Tim Hedrick earlier. They were saying right around 10 o'clock the rain would come rolling into town, and we're expected to see a significant drop in temperature from where we've been on the last 4 just spectacularly beautiful spring days here in Cincinnati. Temperature's been a low to mid 70s. The highs tomorrow right around upper 50s. 3-2 on Castro, and that's probably going to be all for Parham. Although he might get one more batter with a left-handed. No, that's it. Dusty has seen enough. So Parham had a good 9th inning. Struck out the side, but no sooner did the Reds tie the game. 1 out into this 10th inning. A home run by Barney. Little dribbler out in front of the plate turned into an infield hit and a throwing error. Stolen base. Base hit drives in another run. And Alfredo Simon will come on with 2 on and 1 out in the rain. Cubs have taken a 4-2 lead. We're in the 10th. Here on Fox Sports Ohio. For Reds Weekly, Jim Day, Jeff Pecoro, Jim Kelch will review the very best along with features and interviews that you won't see anywhere else. Reds Weekly, Wednesday night, 6 o'clock. Brought to you by Safe Auto. Drive safe. Spend less. We are in the rain in Cincinnati, although we're going to try and play through it. Cubs have scored 2 runs after the Reds had tied the game in the bottom of the 9th inning on a single by Joey Votto. But Darwin Barney breaks a 2-2 tie with a home run to left field. Now the Cubs have added another run. They've stolen 2 bases in the inning. Parra walked Castro, and that's all. They'll give way to the big fella, Alfredo Simon. Boy, Simon has been one busy man. He was a guy that you may remember gave up the 2 runs in a game last night on the 2-run home run in the 13th inning to Luis Valbuena. Ball 1 to Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo 0 for 4 tonight. Has struck out 2 more times. He struck out 3 times in an 0 for 6 effort last night. You know, before the Cubs came into town, Dale Swaim really made headlines after the game on Sunday following the Cubs getting swept by Milwaukee, implying that it doesn't matter who on this team or what their standing might be in reference to the future of the organization. They had better start playing better, because we have a lot of guys around here who have plenty of options to be sent back to the minor leagues. Well, naturally, those that follow the team, the beat writers, said, well, you can't possibly mean Rizzo and Castro. There's a swing and a miss. I mean, those are the 2 guys that the front office of the Cubs are really selling to all the fans that follow the Cubs, and there are a lot of them. Of course, Castro has certainly the resume very early on in his career to sell him. You can understand that. And Swaim said, look, you're the guys that are naming the guys by name. I did not name anybody by name. I'm saying that anybody better get it together. Fly ball into left field. Runners were on the go, and a good throw will double up the runner, and that happens from Heisey to end the inning. But the Cubs scored 2. Of course, they got 2 in the 13th last night. Reds scored 3 in the bottom of the inning. Can they do it once more? They came up with 3 in the bottom of the 13th inning last night, and they'll need to come up with 3 here in the 10th to win the night. Cubs getting 2 runs against Manny Parra in the top of the inning. Scheduled hitters are Miller, pitcher spot due up second as Kevin Gregg is trying to close this thing out now for Chicago. One-time Cub closer back in '09. Bourbon in the game in left field. And Derek Robinson will bat for Miller. Look to the strike. Strike two. Back-to-back fastballs on the outside corner. Xavier Paul. He ignited the 13th inning rally with a base hit last night. He waits on deck to bat for Simon. Well, Simon been so busy lately, came on out of that bullpen and got a quick double play to end the inning. Foul out of play. Fastball up and in. Greg has spent the last couple of years with the Baltimore Orioles. Originally came up with the Florida Marlins. And a 2-2. Foul back out of play.
Hanging right in there.
Greg with 144 career saves in 511 major league appearances. Came up originally, I beg your pardon, with the Angels. Spent a couple of years with the Marlins. Then the Cubs, Blue Jays, and Orioles. And again, Robinson continues to hang around.
Now, one thing Greg will do is throw strikes, especially at this point in his career.
Ball three. Well, you never know with this Reds team.
You're not kidding about that.
You never know, and you never count them out. 3-2 to Robinson. Struck him out. Reds needing that proverbial bloop and a blast, and here comes Paul. We roll back over to Shin-Soo Choo next. Choo has been on base 3 more times tonight in 4 plate appearances so far. That means 17 of his last 22 plate appearances, Shin-Soo Choo has reached base.
Unbelievable.
Ball down a strike. Now, it was against Bowden last night that Paul had the hit coming off the Reds bench. The Reds struck for 3. Paul scoring one of those 3 to win it. If you're just tuning in, Reds tied the game. They were down 2-1 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Joey Votto got a base hit off reliever Carlos Marmol. Plating Shin-Soo Choo had started the inning with a walk, and that tied the game. The Reds had 2 on with 1 out in that inning. Marmol struck out Jay Bruce. Frazier walked, and then Heisey bounced out, leaving the bases loaded with a chance to win it. And the Cubs get 2 in the 10th. And a base hit by Xavier Paul. All right, there's one man aboard. And now we go back to the top of the order. And here comes Shin-Soo Choo. 2 hits, a walk, and a run scored tonight. What a weapon Xavier Paul has become off the Reds bench.
He went down to get that breaking ball, and he was very patient on it. Choked up, as you see right there, and just lines it right into right field. Ball 1.
17 out of his last 22 plate appearances. Chu has gotten on 3 out of 4 tonight. 2 hits and a walk. A ball and a strike. Chu has 3 home runs. Villanueva, Marmol, and now Gregg. 1-1 to Chu. There's a base hit the other way by Chu. And here comes Cozart with a tying run aboard. And Cozart representing the winning run. Shin-Soo Choo. Now 18 times has reached base safely in his last 23 plate appearances. He leads the National League in hits, on-base percentage, multi-hit games, hit by pitch, and batting average against right-handed pitch. #1 in the National League.
Great at bat right there. That is the greatest example of keeping your hands inside the ball that you're going to see all night long.
All right, now Cozart with 2 on. And a breaking ball is under the knees. Cozart 0 for 3. He put down the sacrifice. Advancing Chu in front of the game-tying hit by Votto just 1 inning ago. Big swing and a miss. Votto next. Cozart has 4 home runs so far this year. Right down the middle, a fastball strike to get ahead. Chu carries a tying run at first base. In the air right field. This will be caught. 2 out. And here comes Votto. Dale Swaim said last night when asked about pitching to Jay Bruce, he did not want to break that golden rule, that baseball rule about never walking the potential winning run. He pitched to Bruce and he got burned. You have a right-handed batter in Brandon Phillips. Of course, if you did that, you'd put the tying run into scoring position. So
he did
probably not going to do it tonight.
Made the same decision tonight by pitching to Joey Votto with a base open. Votto came back with that base hit to tie the game up. So 2 nights in a row, he decided not to break that unwritten rule of walking the winning run on base, and both times it backfired on him. Maybe rules are meant to be broken.
1-0 on Joey Votto. And there's a strike. Votto delivered in the 9th inning. Well, it seems like 2 days ago now. We're only in the bottom of the 10th. Good speed at first. Carrying the tying run is Chu. Votto, the potential winning run. And once more, if you're paying attention to the game, that has been a strike all night long for Marvin Hudson.
Our Fox Tracks is agreeing with Marvin Hudson about 90% of the time.
So now Votto waiting. The 1-2 from Kevin Gregg. And a little bit too far. Wide and low that time to even account. The never say die Cincinnati Reds are looking for another final at bat win. Game over. Didn't have it in them tonight. They did in the 9th, but don't in the 10th. So this series is even at a game apiece. This Reds offense for a second straight night, by and large, completely shut down. Tonight, primarily by Carlos Villanueva. Greg getting the save, and Marmol gets a win. And Darwin Barney batting down in that number 8 hole since coming off the DL, had 3 hits total. But our Miller time moment off Manny Parra, a home run to the seats in left field. And the Cubs walk away with a 10-inning 4-2 win. It is time now for Reds Live. For Chris Welsh, Tom Brenneman, our entire crew, thanks so much for joining us. Time for the gang on Reds Live.